back, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, the lovable intern, Papa Bear. And here with our main host is...
I like how you said main host. Thank you. I don't think you meant to say that, but I am here, everybody.
No. Al, our Papi Chulo, you have my moments with me where you're doing good, and then you fuck it up with 1 or 2 episodes.
Yeah, everybody, we're here for another episode 20, and Al called off sick today.
You see, this is exactly why I started this episode with main host.
Yeah, right when he told me I probably won't be able to record today, I saw you walking, and I was like, we have an intern. Because he told me, well, whatever you can do. I'm like, I already have a plan. So I grabbed you. And we had quite a day today.
You snatched me away from my errands. You kidnapped me into the secret hideouts of the studio.
I just love our adventures too, because at first I was like, well, I don't know what we're going to talk about. Am I going to bring up video games or... And then stuff was happening throughout the day, and I saw you getting pissed off, and I was like, I know exactly what we're going to talk about.
Look, a lot of this is never meant to happen to me, but I kind of luck into it, so it makes for good content, I think. But one of the things that I know Hector here, or Stallion,
oh boy,
wanted me to
Stallion!
talk about. Yeah, exactly. I'm bringing in that nickname, finally.
Thank you.
But one of the things he wanted me to talk about, because it happened, not weirdly enough, but it was so out of left field. I'm just like, how the hell are you commenting it on me?
That was awesome.
It was awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Hector.
As an observer, it made my day. So
on Sundays, that's when Hector and I will usually do our chores or day-to-day things, get stuff that we would Costco or go out and get something to eat. And today, while we were checking out from Costco, right before you exit, there's always 2 attendants there that check your receipt, check what's in your cart, make sure everything matches up. That way it's another check, or safety check, for them to make sure that you're not stealing anything. And on our way out,
first you gotta tell them what you bought. Were you buying?
Yeah, I was buying my usual goodies, chicken, veggies, and then I would usually get a third item so that way it spices up my lunch. But this time I saw they were selling eggnog, and I don't know how many listeners know about this, but I love eggnog just as much as I love pumpkin spice.
And women. Pumpkin spice, just pumpkin spice.
Just pumpkin spice. But really, more so eggnog than anything else. Anyhow, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to treat myself. I'm going to buy myself this gallon of eggnog that they had going on. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to be happy. Make it feel more festive.
Yeah, you're feeling the holidays. I saw you joyful carrying this eggnog.
Yes, I was all filled with joy. I was like a brown Santa Claus, full of joy.
Big bear with
exactly. But on our way out, the guy was checking our cart, and this guy had the audacity to stare me down and tell me, "Hey, do you know how many calories are in an eggnog?" For those of you that don't know about eggnog, which should be very low, eggnog isn't very much healthy for you. In fact, it should have been evident that it's not healthy for you, because Hector and I, we weren't as though we were shopping like for all these healthy items. No. We had fucking hot dogs in our hands. Clearly, it's like it was a holiday thing. And he looked at me saying, "Do you know how much calories?" And in my head, I'm like, you motherfucker. Of all the things you could have talked to me about, it's about how many calories are in this fucking eggnog.
But I like how when he told you, you looked at it too. We both looked at the calories.
It's like, what, are you trying to make me regret my decision on this eggnog? I'm not going to regret it, but who the fuck are you to tell me that there are so many calories in eggnog?
And that's the funny part. You know, you're this big guy. You had a hot dog in your hand. Obviously, we're not being healthy.
Yeah, obviously, today was not that day.
It just wasn't the day, but hey, you know how many calories are in that eggnog? And then he told us, like, oh yeah, there was this one day where I realized how many calories was in that, and whoa. And as soon as he told him that, Elias just got quiet. We walked out, and Elias was... This is all he thought about and talked about for like the next 5-10 minutes.
Who the fuck do you think you are telling me how to live my life? tell me what I can and cannot drink. I know how many fucking calories are in that eggnog. I know exactly how many calories because I drink it every year. It's a treat. It's a treat that I don't have often.
Yeah.
And on top of that, he stared at me. I would have been more accepting if this guy was fit or like was all about mental health. But no, he looked like an average Jew with a portly belly.
You get like a dad bod, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, like a... No, not dad bod.
No. Because the dad bod, you at least still have the chest.
Yeah,
he didn't have the chest.
Yeah.
He had the stomach. But it's like, he came at us as though he was trying to give us health advice. I'm like, motherfucker, like, this isn't the time. It's the holidays. We aren't thinking about diets and exercising right now. Which, for those of you that are, good on ya. But that wasn't today. That wasn't the whole purpose for this trip.
Plus, also, like, that could have been your cheat thing on there. Because you had chicken, you had veggies, and that eggnog. Mm-hmm. So, the rest of it's fine, but...
He pointed out the eggnog.
I probably thought you were going to chug it when we get back.
I mean, I can.
Probably will.
No, I've been good this year. I haven't killed off eggnog as quickly as I usually will.
You like eggnog that much?
Yes. Usually what happens every year when I buy eggnog is as soon as I bring it home, I start filling myself up a glass of eggnog. As soon as I'm done with it, I fill myself up with another glass of eggnog.
Is that your go-to holiday drink?
Yes. That is something I drink every year without question, without doubt.
If you were to have just eggnog or just the pumpkin spice, what would you have?
I would have eggnog because I like eggnog that much more.
Wow.
But it's not something I would drink every day.
Okay.
Because I know how bad eggnog is.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the calories, I think it was like 130. I'm assuming that's for one serving. That's, wow.
I would assume it's 130 for a 6 ounce, not even a traditional 8 ounce.
Yeah.
Like, that's how bad eggnog is. I know that. It's still my treat, though.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not getting it to be healthy.
I can't truly enjoy the holidays unless I have eggnog.
And what did we dub this guy's name?
I don't know if there's any Joeys listening. We deemed every person that pisses us off as a Joey.
If somebody, specifically in these public places, I'm assuming, more public restaurants and stuff, pisses us off, and it's a dude, of course.
Usually it is.
Your name is Joey.
Your name is automatically Joey, without question. And this particular Joey at Costco, I gave him the nickname of Fat Joey.
Fat Joey.
Because he had the audacity to tell me how many calories are in this eggnog while being fat himself.
If any listeners are named Joey, this episode's for you. We hope you're having a great day. But Elias...
No. Hector may be giving you having a great day. I am going to stand firm on this. Go fuck yourself, Joey.
Go fuck yourself, Joey. Elias, what are you drinking right now?
Wouldn't you like to know the tea?
What tea was it again?
So, on our way back, there was a new tea bar that opened up near the secret headquarters of the studio.
Was it Vietnamese?
Yes, it says Vietnamese here. Mm-hmm. And it's a place called Ding Tea.
Yes.
Yes, it's honestly a very nice location that just opened up. But they had this promotional drink called Monster Boba Tea. And it's an interesting drink to say the least. Because it is Vietnamese coffee.
Okay.
Mixed with a little, or hints of mocha. A heavy hand of condensed sweetened milk. And then the boba balls themselves are honey, but the small bobas, not the big ones. And so when you drink it, it hits you with this blast of flavors, which like, by no means are they don't go well together. They do. It's just, all of them hits you at once. Mm-hmm. And then you'll get waves of, oh, there's a mocha. Oh, here's a Vietnamese coffee. Oh, here's a condensed milk. Oh, here's the honey. And parts of it become sweet, but then it mellows out. Okay. So I guess you can say it's a monster full of emotions.
Oh, man. All right, you're out of this episode. No, but... Oh, Elias, hold on.
What's up?
You know how many calories are in that?
Damn, Joey.
Fuck you, Joey. Yeah, so any listeners in San Bernardino, which I know we have quite a few of, Ding Tea. It's a great new place we just tried. It seems pretty promising. They have a lot on their menu. I had the jasmine green tea. I've been a little bit into those milk teas lately.
Oh, yeah. Of all the tea bars in our area, I say Tea Terminal is still the best.
T-Terminal, yes.
Followed by Dainty. Dainty has made that much of a strong impression on me to make it on my list.
Now I'm surprised they built that one. Like, T-Terminal hasn't even been there that long.
T-Terminal has been the oldest tea bar in the area.
What, like 2 years tops?
Yeah. Followed by Liquid Tea Bar. Then the campus's tea bar. Followed by Dainty.
And all that on one street.
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of cool. More variety and not just fast food places.
Sure. And it's like, I think it's starting to become saturated with tea bars, but Dainty was a good addition. It's the newest of all the tea bars.
It's a very like collegey place.
I think, for sure. The inside reminds me of like a set piece you would find in a bunch of furniture magazines.
Yeah. And one thing I'm noticing with a lot of these places that specifically they're building right here, because we're right by a university, is they're making it so you stay there and chill for a bit. Because they all have board games. Yeah. They all have like sofas. This one was really nice. The layout. I did see not many board games, but I saw Jenga and I think I saw something else.
In all fairness, it could be that they're just opening up, so they don't have it quite growing just yet. But I'm sure with time they're going to get more board games in and probably even more lights or outlets so people can charge the phones and whatnot.
What tea would you recommend to listeners?
I say if you've never had a milk tea or never had a boba milk tea, I recommend that you start off with a Thai tea.
Yeah, that's a good basic one.
And then followed by a taro milk tea. Taro is, I think, a good beginner tea that is different in taste than most other teas, but it's still really good. And it's still very much popular.
A lot of these drinks, they just look so enticing too. These colors and just how fluid they are. They look so awesome.
Very much true. And it gets me in the feels because it reminds me of my chemistry. Chemistry labs. Well, because in labs, right, we do a lot of experiments where a lot of solutions won't necessarily mix until you stir it upon. Until you start stirring. Okay. And here it reminds me of you adding your first solution into a beaker, followed by the second one, but you see the layer between the two.
That reminds me of an eclipse. Have you heard of that drink?
No.
So it's basically 1/2 Blue Moon and Guinness. Oh. But those are two very different color beers. Yeah. So when you mix them, you have the very light Blue Moon and you have the darkness of the Guinness, but they do not mix. But you need someone to do this properly, because I've had some, or it gets muddled and it's like turn like a lightish brown. Yeah. It looks like dirty water at that point. But the thing is that aesthetic is part of it too. Yeah. It's like that presentation is a part of the experience.
Yeah, exactly. That's like making a cappuccino cup. You need to make sure that the foam of the milk is right, but designing it as you pour it in. Yeah. You can't just have like a dot of foamed milk there. But speaking of our adventures, right? What's one of the places that you found to be the most surprising of the 4 stops we've hit?
People are going to be surprised that I haven't tried this place before. It's not a food place.
I'm so surprised that you haven't hit the spot.
I think I was talking to Beatrice B about this a while ago because we were talking about thrift stores. I think a lot of people like thrifting, especially if you're, in college, and it's just cheaper stuff. And I've been to like a lot of thrift stores, but more nothing with a big name. Yeah. Besides Salvation Army, as I told you. But so we were, we're driving around and we saw a Goodwill, and I've never been to Goodwill, and I think Beatrice was surprised about this too. So we went today, and I wasn't expecting much. I wasn't expecting anything, and you saw me. I had a stack of books.
So usually, I like going to Goodwill. Yeah. To find DVDs, movies, CDs of music. I don't blame you. But I was really surprised that you didn't know about Goodwill. But I didn't know about this until once we entered the Goodwill. And as I was doing my usual rounds of a Goodwill, I usually head up to clothes, see what they got, see some furniture items. Maybe I'm looking for a new cup. And then I'll end it all off with movies, DVDs, games, and books. Since always located next to each other. And I was making my rounds. I ended up losing you for a bit.
Yeah, we lost each other.
And I didn't find him until much later, until like I was towards the end of my rounds.
And where was I?
And you were just looking at one section of a 2-wall bookshelf thing. And he was just going through every single book that they had. As soon as I saw that, I'm like, I got filled with joy because I'm like, yes, I got you into something finally.
I got one fiction book. I got Alice in Wonderland. Mm-hmm. I've been wanting to read that for a long time. I got a book on constructive criticism and literary criticism.
Really?
Yeah, I was really intrigued by this when I had some classes on literature and basically criticism on literature. So I found this book and I was like, it's really interesting. I enjoyed this class. I didn't do good in the class, but I enjoyed the class. And at the very end, right before about to leave, I found a book on Johnny Cash. So I picked that up. And then the one thing I asked Elias, because I love vinyls, I love collecting vinyls, is, are there records here? And he looked at me like I was dumb, and he's like, did you not see these records over here?
Yeah, they were just literally right around the corner from the books.
And then I was there for a while, and I got a record.
I mean, it helped out, because I had to find some items I needed for the restroom, so it all worked out at the end.
And I'm intending to go back.
Yes, I want you to go back. In fact, I want to go back.
And I have this problem. I'm sure I know you have this too, actually, where I buy books and I have a stack of books to read, but I still buy more books.
Yep.
And I know you do that, actually, because I know you have a lot of books and I don't see you read.
Nope. I could remember a lot of my books that I bought or picked up. And I think I've maybe read through 4, maybe 5 of them, of all the ones I've ever picked up. Mm-hmm. And I'm still amazed that I still continue to pick up more books. But hey, that's the point of Goodwill. You find a lot of these gems at low prices. They're like, hey, it's best to pick it up now. It can wait on my shelf for a bit while I catch up with everything else.
And that's the thing too, because we're there at the Goodwill. It's cheap already. Mm-hmm. The books I was looking at, they were $2 each. And then you told me, and I guess the lady had told you, anything with the green sticker, 50% off. So these books are now $1.
Yeah. So the reason why I mainly like Goodwill compared to any other thrift store is the fact that Goodwill will have daily deals. Mm-hmm. A lot of the items you see or every item you see in Goodwill is marked with a very specific color that shows the price. And if you enter in that day with the color matching up to the item you want, you'll get it from 20 to 75% off. Just depends on the store and area location. Mm-hmm. And this particular day happened to be a 50% off. So Hector got a good deal on a lot of these books.
Got 3 books and a record, and I donate some money. It's $6.
Yep.
And they're smart with that donating money thing too, because they're not asking for a specific amount. They're just asking you to finish this $1. Yeah. Yep. Because I think I was gonna pay like $5.40 or something. The lady just told me, do you want to add this up to $6? Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, fine. And that's not much. It's just a few cents. And if you think about it in cents and change, I think that makes people more likely to donate, maybe?
Yeah, no, but by all means, I think it's really smart because it incentivizes, like, yeah, I'll make this into a whole $1. It's
convenient.
It's convenient. It makes the calculations that much easier.
Because obviously loose change adds up. Yeah. But that's not something we always think about. We think of it in convenience of carrying change. Mm-hmm. So that really helps out. Because at times I see, tip jars and stuff, and I don't feel very inclined to donate to those. But this was easy, convenient. I did it.
And it's not like you're tipping the worker directly. It's like, yeah, this is all going to go to a good cause. And the more people they get in, the more they like to round it up, the more change they get in. Mm-hmm. So that was really smart of them.
But man, the Goodwill, I'm definitely going to go back. And I have a problem with books.
And to think that's the one that we visited. It was about a mid-sized store. They had, in my opinion, they just opened up. Not a lot was out yet. Mm-hmm. I've been to different Goodwills all across California and parts of Washington where they get as large as, I want to say, about half of Ralph's or Vons.
Oh, wow, that's pretty big.
Yeah. It's just half of the store, though. No, not the entirety
That's
of it.
Not bad.
And a lot of it would be sectioned off to women's clothing, men's clothing, and then some of the larger chains will have the larger sized clothing options. Mm-hmm. On top of the furniture section, utensil section, knickknacks as I call them, where it's cabinets or a lot of small stuff that you would put on a desk. And then it moves on to paintings, and then you get into the electronics section. And when I go to Goodwill, that's the main section I like going to. But I usually save that till the end. Mm-hmm. So that's how I found a lot of some of the best deals I've gotten so far.
And there's just so much nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
So these are things that are donated. They're older. They're all older things.
Yeah.
When you showed me, what was it, for the Wild Wild West, was it the soundtrack?
There was a soundtrack too.
I forgot that was a movie. I forgot about that. That's, what was that, late 90s, early 2000s? No, late
that
90s.
was early 2000s.
Early 2000s?
Yeah, that was
wow.
early 2000s.
Yeah, you showed me like, hey, look at this, and I was like,
because like late 90s was, I think, Fresh Prince at the time.
Wow. Now that we're on that, we're closing another decade.
Yes, we are.
That's crazy when you think about that. It's 2019 we're closing. This episode is going to release tomorrow on the 23rd. The holidays is here. That's crazy.
So here's a good question for you, Hector. How do you remember, how would you compare the beginning of the decade to the end of the decade?
So many memes.
So many memes?
So many memes.
Yeah.
So many memes. The child, Baby Yoda. It's just crazy. Like,
but I'm talking more so about your decade. How's your decade?
I am at a point where I'm realizing how fleeting it is. Because when you think of 2010,
right,
it sounds very recent. 2011 sounds very recent to me. Yeah. I think of, to me, that's like mid-high school because I graduated 2012. So 2010, 2011 seems very recent. Yeah. But then when you think about it, it's the beginning of the decade. Mm-hmm. That's 10 years. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. Like when people say, the 90s is already, 30 years ago?
That's the part that's tripping me out. Because I remember in the 90s as like maybe 10, 15 years ago.
It's just most of your life you're thinking about it that way. 10, 15 years ago. 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
But time's going on and you're still going by that same frame. Mm-hmm. But so much has happened. I like to always think of, I think we've talked about this, but like cell phones and how much they've changed.
Oh, yeah.
Because back when we were in high school, cell phones were completely different.
Oh, yeah, by far. The most the cell phone I had in high school could do.
What was your first?
My very first was a flip phone in middle school. Okay. And the only thing I was allowed to do was call my parents with it.
No text or any of that stuff?
I mean, I could text, but they knew I would be responsible, so I didn't really text that often. So it's like I had that option to do so, but I always just left it alone. If I wanted to talk to my friends, I wouldn't even think about, bringing out my phone to call them. I would just wait until the next day until I saw them. And so when I got into high school, at that point, phones progressed a little bit further, but they were still using number pads as the button interface. And the most it can do was like play a very low quality version of Guitar Hero. Yeah, that's the part I remembered.
Oh my gosh. My first was the Juke. I don't know if you remember that one.
No, I don't remember the Juke.
That was one. I
remember the Razor.
It opens like a switchblade. Sideways. I had that one. I guess people talked about it a lot. A lot of people wanted it. And they were just having this deal. It was like a buy one, get one free. So my brother and I were both going to get our first phone. That was the deal they were having at Verizon at the time. So we both got a Juke. And the main thing about that was it was also an MP3 player. Hey, at the time, nice. It was
super nice.
It was 2 gigabytes. At the time, that was a huge deal. 2 gigabytes of music on your phone, and it sounded really good. Like, that was a huge deal at the time.
Mm-hmm. And I remember the phone that I wanted when I was in high school.
Which one?
The Sidekick.
Oh, I'm surprised you didn't say Razor. That's the one everyone talked. I didn't really care about the Razor.
I didn't care about it, but I think part of it was because my mom had it. And she would use it for her business calls and whatnot. Was
it just that it was very common? People were nostalgic about it? I never had one.
Yes, I think it was partially. It was also aesthetic of the early 2000s.
It was sleek.
It was futuristic, quote unquote. It was very much all about soft lines, but like clear plastic. If you get what I'm trying to say.
That was like the notable flip phone. Mm-hmm. I remember the chocolate.
Oh, yes. I completely forgot about the chocolate.
My parents had that. And that was a big thing. And like after a month, people stopped talking about it.
Yeah.
I remember when I first... So at first, I was too much of an old soul. And I'm that person. I didn't want to jump a bandwagon. And I remember when my brother got his touchscreen phone. I think it was like a Voyager or something like that. One of those, like way back then. I didn't want one. I had one of the ones that would slide up and you'd have a keyboard. And I liked that. I love that phone.
See, that's why I like the Sidekick, because that was it. You could just flip it open.
And I clearly remember thinking, touchscreen isn't going to stick. Boy, was I wrong.
Wow.
Yeah, and eventually it got to the point where, iPhones became popular and
Coming from the guy that said touchscreen wasn't going to be it.
I know, and I have a tablet on my... Man, it's just... Like, we're talking about the Razer and the Juke and all these phones. I mean, look, you're looking at the desk right now where we're podcasting, and you just seen this technology. It's just none of this back then. Just 10 years.
Yeah, it was mind-blowing.
Just a decade. Wow.
I like the... what's the word I'm looking for? The ironicness of your technology in your room, where you have
irony.
The irony. Thank you. Thank you. I'm not an English major, all right?
You need to be an English major to know to know irony.
Look,
go ahead, go ahead, Papa Bear.
I'm not a smart man, all right. But I do like the juxtaposition of it all.
Ooh,
that's the word I was.
Couldn't think of irony, but you went for juxtaposition. Okay.
Yeah, of your touchscreen notebook / portable keyboard to then immediately behind you in the studio, the record player that's just sitting on your cabinet.
Vintage and not vintage over here.
Yes, that's the word I was looking for. See, I know some words.
One of the things that I love that Elias says a lot, like he has his go-to jokes, and if he gets caught, like if he says something dumb or not very smart, he likes to say, "I may look dumb,
but I ain't stupid." And I try to add a southern charm to it. Even though I know it's a very shitty southern charm accent.
If people saw the way we joked around, they might be a little confused.
Oh yeah, by far. But that's okay, because it's not for them. It's for us.
Yeah. When do jokes become too mean? Your thought of that? Perfect. I can't believe we never talked about this. I think there's a difference between mean and savage. Because I think savage has become kind of its own thing. It's become a slang term over the years.
Yeah.
But I think those are two different things. When someone's being an asshole and someone's being a savage.
Yes, Hold on, let me think about this one.
I always kind of saw it as more savage, like more so with friends.
Yeah.
When, you can be an asshole with friends, but...
I would be inclined to agree with you on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Because being a savage is knowing the comeback to an insult while still insulting them without it being too direct on their persons or their characteristics.
Yeah.
While as being an asshole, people can't be assholes with their friends. That's just taking it a step too far.
Yeah.
At that point, you're attacking them as a person.
Yeah.
In which case, if you do it, if it's 1 or 2, they'll most likely let it slide for you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you constantly say the same thing over and over again, then it's like, no, you're just being an asshole.
Because the other day in my job, we were talking about people that are just rude. And in public and in public places. We're now at the holidays. Mm-hmm. When we got the sample, I don't know if you remember the yogurt
yes,
and the granola and stuff. So there was this older woman, and she was giving a sample at Costco. And she told me, like, oh, I'm still preparing this. You're going to have to hold on. And I specifically told her, take your time.
Right.
And she was surprised. And she told us, like, that's the first time someone told me that. Someone said that. And we asked her about, the hecticness of the holidays.
Oh, yes. I could tell she was giving us straight sarcasm there.
Yeah.
Just a heavy hand of sarcastic remark. Because by the way she made it seem like, at least in the way I interpret it, that a lot of people during the holiday seasons become assholes.
Yeah.
And I would agree with her. It's like, a lot of times if you're trying to go out to the mall and pick up an item, there's this huge crowd of people. They're all angry, they're all upset at something, and they're just trying to get in and get out. But it's like they're causing their own frustration by being there,
Mm-hmm. And you worked for food services. Mm-hmm. How was that with people? I'm sure, with rushes, people just...
I've noticed I was a caterer for 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
For the campus. And my time there, I've noticed people were the rudest during the spring/summer transitions. Mm-hmm. That's when people were probably the rudest that I at least noticed. And they're the calmest, or they would be more, I guess, respectful to the servers during the holidays.
You think it's the heat?
I think it's the heat.
The heat.
But at the same time, we also get a lot more complaints during the holidays. Even though they're all being friendly as they can be. Because I think at that point, everybody realizes, hey, they're just trying to do their job. They let things go, but they still wanted to get it done. Yeah.
And I worked retail, I worked at the bookstore. And one thing I found very funny was when people just associate you with the company. They think you are the company, where you're just this person doing your job. And specifically, I worked at this bookstore, and we sold textbooks. Textbooks are not cheap.
No, they are not.
Very often, I was only there for a little bit, and very often, like, I would, charge somebody, and I'd be like, oh, this is your overall price. And I've had a few people say, that's a lot. Why are you charging me that much? And I'm like, lady, I'm not making these prices. I'm just the messenger. Like,
so you control said prices.
And that's the thing too. You're going to this place. You should know how much you're paying ahead of time. You should see the price. Honestly, come on. You don't just pick something up and just head over it. I don't know who really does it. I have to check the price. Or ahead of time, I'm like, how much will I be spending today? Yeah. And I always found that funny, especially like at that kind of store and a textbook and being shocked by this big price.
And I think what it is, I had like maybe 2 days at the bookstore before I was done working there myself.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I worked there for like 2 days and that was it. Because at the time I was still catering and I wanted to pick up a second job. But I realized at that point I was still studying. I was working for one company already. I didn't want to add the responsibility of a second job. Yeah. Because I knew how that was going to leave me stressed and worried about things. And so I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I went up to my supervisor. I told him like, hey, sorry, it's not going to work out with me. And so I left after 2 days.
Yeah, I did not. Retail's not for me.
No. And it's like, I think at the very least, people should at least have a couple of months working in retail. 1 month of just like a regular season and then 1 month during the holidays. I think that's the best time for someone to be working in retail. Because that way they have an idea of how it is on off seasons and during the seasons.
Since we're talking about holidays, have you gotten sick of Christmas music yet?
Christmas movies? Or
music?
No. This year, no. I have not. And I think partly because of that is where I work. I'm usually inside an office where they're not playing music. I usually play my own music. And since I'm controlling the music I listen to, I don't have the holiday music going.
Oh, okay.
But I know the office ladies in front, I'm sure they're sick of the whole holiday movie or musics.
Gotta hear the same ones up there, I'm assuming.
Over and over again.
I told you in the car, but I had heard that there's Christmas EDM music.
Yes.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's needless to say, not my cup of tea here.
Oh, wow. He just flashed me his cup of tea. How many calories are in that?
Look here. You had asked me to save on to my cup of tea.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry.
To start this episode.
Right before... So once we confirmed Elias was going to come on this episode, Papa Bear, the intern, so we were getting this tea, Ding tea. And when we were leaving, I told him, how about we get our tea, we come on the episode, we just enjoy our tea and just talk. I finished my tea before we started the episode because I got distracted because I was playing the new record, right, checking stuff out. I'm setting up the mic.
I don't blame you for getting lost in your thoughts.
Yeah.
I do blame you for finishing off your tea.
Well.
Yeah, that was your responsibility. You see, as the intern, I can juggle all these multiple different tasks.
I have my coffee here from earlier. I never finished.
So yeah, that's why I flashed you that cup of tea.
Oh, man.
But as you were saying, Christmas EDM music. Well, I'm just going to throw it out there. I don't think that should be a thing.
But that makes me curious about these types of Christmas music that we don't know about. Because I didn't know about it. There's got to be other ones that are just weird and different.
Know one, but I think it works well for Christmas music.
What?
It's called Christmas lo-fi music.
Well, yeah, that sounds... Lo-fi is a very big thing right now, too.
That it is, and I've been listening to it for 4 years now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's been a while. I've picked it up my junior year of college. And since then, it's been with me. But Christmas lo-fi, I think, works really well because Christmas music as it is very much mellow. I mean, obviously, there are certain music or Christmas music out there that have an upbeat tone, I guess. Yeah,
you have your upbeat, cheerful stuff, and then just I like the jazzy stuff.
Yeah. So, obviously, there's holiday music like that. But with the lo-fi, it's already at a mellow out, chill wave, I guess. And I think since there are certain Christmas music out there that's already chilled, that those two genres would naturally mesh well together. So that's the stuff I like listening to, and that's one of the things that helps me get into the whole holiday season.
What is your favorite Christmas memory?
Oh, my favorite Christmas memory. I'd say it was my 6th year, or when I was 6 years old, my Christmas, and my family wasn't too big on Christmas. We didn't do a whole lot of wrapping presents and whatnot. Mm-hmm. We did do the Christmas tree, but that stopped middle school, around I was 13 or so. Mm-hmm. But the few times I do remember Christmas being well and happy, it was when I was 6 years old, and I had gotten a Nintendo 64.
Oh, I can see why that's big for you.
Yep, and I had unwrapped it. I was all happy about it. We had gotten a copy of Donkey Kong 64.
So you were 6. Mm-hmm. Your brother, how old was Fabian?
I think he's 7 years older than me. So he was
13-ish?
13-ish in middle school. Okay.
And was that your first console?
That was the first time of having a console that was mine. It wasn't my first time interacting with a console.
Is that the one you have right now in our living room?
No, part of it. So
part of it,
yeah. I ended up Frankensteining.
Part that survived.
Yeah, I ended up Frankensteining my N64. It was the clear green plastic model, which I should have held on to. I was just being stupid.
You're just being Elias.
Yeah, I was being Elias. It had the expansion pack memory, the little red insert for the N64, and a copy of Donkey Kong 64.
Oh, wow.
With a green controller. Mm-hmm. And I had held on to it for many, many years until we went to a garage sale and I picked up a gray Nintendo 64. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, I thought the gray Nintendo 64 looked better, so I swapped out the expansion pack from the green one onto the gray one, and I started playing all my stuff on there. Even though this gray one, the reset button doesn't work. While my green one was perfectly fine and in order.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know why I thought it was better. Mm-hmm. And that's probably one of my biggest gaming regrets I've had.
But that must be really exciting, opening the Nintendo 64 on Christmas at 6 years old. Yeah. That's one thing I miss, like that magic of Christmas when you're younger. Because it really does change, but it's one of those things too where you just have to hold on to it. You have to try to hold on to it. Make the best of it. Because things do change when you're older. But there are often people that just think, I'm getting old. This isn't the same anymore. And they're just thinking of these negative stuff. But
I know what helped me transition from that moment of, oh, Christmas is special to, oh, I'm just getting older. Christmas isn't it for me. It was at the point where I saw my little cousins. And I knew, even though I may not be enjoying Christmas,
you can preserve it for them.
I'll preserve it for them.
Yeah, it's me with like the kids I was working with. Like, you see the joy in their eyes when they talk about Santa Claus and stuff. And, you know, of course, we all know the truth. He's out there.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not going to ruin it for these kids.
Yeah.
Hector on there, then, he can do whatever he wants.
No, I think Beatrice is the type of person that would do that. She's not here right now, so she can't defend herself.
Yeah, I'm like, let's not insult Bea when she's not here.
Yeah, true.
Any other day, I would happily insult her to her face, but when she's not here, no.
One day, we're going to have a podcast of 3 of us, and that's mostly going to be banter and us attacking each other.
No. That's not what's going to happen. There's going to be banter for sure, but we're not going to be attacking each other. We're going to be attacking me.
That's true. It'll be you. I fan the flames. I'm an instigator.
Yes, you are, and I'm an instigator.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, that was another... No, just kidding. But,
I swear, these puns, they're amazing, aren't they, Hector?
Oh, boy. Elias and his puns. One thing I will say, ladies and gentlemen, is... So, Elias likes shitty movies. He doesn't... Okay, so let me explain. So, he's been joking around with me lately, because... So, a couple weeks ago, we watched Home Alone. Mm-hmm. We had some friends over, we watched Home Alone. That's I think it's a staple Christmas movie. We watched 1 and 2, good movies. And then we realized, well, 3's on here. Yeah. let's just yeah. We got to go through with this. So we watched 3, and it was rough.
It was rough, but it was enjoyable.
It was very violent.
Yes, it was.
It was very fucking violent. It was very concerning.
Yeah, we realized at that point that these kids were psychopaths.
Especially in 3, though.
Yeah, no, by far in 3.
And for those that don't know, so 3 is when the recast happened. It was a different kid. It wasn't even the same character. It wasn't Kevin McAllister. Mm. And then we tried watching 4, which...
is a soft reboot / remake It follows Kevin McAllister and family, but only partial family. But it's also with a different cast.
Yeah, for those that need the recap, Kevin McAllister is the kid that Macaulay Culkin plays. So the Home Alone we all think of, 1 and 2, that's that character. So they rebooted this new kid. It was bad. And it made me appreciate Home Alone 3.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I actually thought it was... I like Home Alone 3 after that. We couldn't even finish 4. So anyways, after we watched that, I realized you were watching more shitty movies. Mm-hmm. After we watched that. Yeah. So Elias he'll play his Nintendo Switch or play some mobile games, and he'll have some shitty movies in the background. Yep. And at first, I was questioning you, and I was judging you, and I was like, why are you watching these shitty movies when you could be watching some good shit? And then you pointed out to me, it's just background noise. You can just laugh at it. It's in the background. And what have you watched in the past 2 weeks?
I realized how awful the original Inspector Gadget was.
Oh,
the live action one. Not the cartoon one, but the live action one. And then the sequel to the live action one, Inspector Gadget 2. And we got through maybe the first 5 minutes or so of Disaster Movie. I guess you can say that movie was
a disaster. So back on track here. So Elias started telling more bad jokes. And it's not just cheesy jokes. It's not dad jokes. They're bad jokes. And he doesn't tell bad jokes. He repeats these bad jokes over and over and over.
With a smug grin.
So I started the Star Wars marathon I do every year. And you were with me on every other movie.
Yeah.
And specifically, everyone knows about the high ground from episode 3 and Revenge of the Sith. So I promise you guys that every 5, maybe even less, like every 2 minutes, Elias will look at me and he'd be like, Hector, I guess you can say he has the high ground. And there were times where it made sense, but like 90% of the time it just did not make sense. And I know you were just trying to get on my nerves.
It wasn't so much getting on your nerves
no,
as
that's
it was seeing the disappointment in your eyes. I wish Al was back.
You wish Al was back? He'll be back.
Speaking of which, on a side note, I finally got to meet Papi Chulo.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, a lot of the time, Elias just isn't here in the studio when Al is here. We're just, different schedules and stuff. And Papa Bear finally, in person, met Al. Mm-hmm. How was that?
It was interesting. He was a lot skinnier than I thought he would be.
You think he's skinny?
He's a lot skinnier than I thought he was going to be.
What'd you expect? What'd you think of?
I thought he was going to be about your height, but more chubby, I guess.
Okay.
Then I was kind of just going based off of his Twitter account. I want to say it was his Twitter account, mm-hmm. the Hoodie Quest.
No, I saw somebody else.
Oh,
that's not even Al.
So I didn't even
You're thinking of someone else. That's a different friend of mine. This is my friend Alexis. He has a podcast. If you guys want to check that out.
Yeah. So
Quest and G Save the World.
I was picturing more of him.
You're not even thinking of the right person.
I wasn't even thinking.
You met him. You're not even thinking of the right person. Nope. What was funny though, because Al and I were with a friend of ours. We were drinking, and then he came over. And I opened the door a little bit and I looked at you and I was like, hey, are you ready to meet your Papi Chulo? And your face kind of lit up like you're meeting a celebrity or something. And then there was a point you saw us bantering and I was making fun of him. And I just see Elias smiling at us and he was like, it's like a live episode. And that's just the way we are.
It was great.
The way we are on the podcast, like you see me making fun of Al and occasionally, just... That's how we are.
What I'm curious about is if Papi Chulo pictured how I am.
Like, Well, you described yourself as a bear. You described yourself as, big and, like, grizzly. I don't know. That's a good question.
Exactly.
We'll have to have you both in the podcast at the same time.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Savages Unscripted is going to grow. I've explained to you our hopes for this. And we want Elias to be on here more. It's just, schedules. You have a weird work schedule.
I really do. My only 2 days off that I can really rest is on Sundays and Mondays.
Yeah, so lately we usually record on Saturdays. That's not your good day. You cannot record on Saturdays.
I mean, I could, but it has to be really early in the morning.
And Sundays you're doing errands and those kinds of things. That's typically when Al and I also record, schedules, and that's what it is about being an adult. You just got to make time for things.
Exactly. But speaking of making time, and I kind of want to know what the listeners think. Should the interns start tweeting more about behind the scenes shenanigans and corrections that either Hector or Papi Chulo make on each episode?
At this point, you might as well do it. You just dropped it.
Yeah, they should.
You want to give your idea?
I think that was the idea in itself. But what I'm looking for, in particular from the audience members, is the name. I want to know what I should be naming this segment. I'm thinking A Day with the Intern, I guess. Thoughts with the Intern, something like that. Something where I can tell you guys what I'm thinking about each episode that was about production of said episode.
And what's funny is initially you being an intern was a joke.
Yeah.
But now we're integrating you into this. And
I'm like, I want to be more involved because of this now.
Yeah. And it's really fun. Like this is this is our thing. And like I said, we do want you to be a part of this. And you are a part of this.
Yeah.
People have been I've had some friends, the other day our friend Jesse came over and he sees you as part of Savages Unscripted. And Beatrice, I've had some people say they want her back on the show. Yeah. And so what's funny is now when you ask about the this decade that's finishing, this year is finishing too. We just started this podcast in August or September. It hasn't been around not even half a year. Yeah. And that's what's crazy. So in a year, like what is this going to become? Where are we going to be in a year? Each of us. Yeah. That's crazy. Just time, so much happens.
I mean, shoot. Already on the YouTube channel, you have 24 subscribers.
That's good.
You don't keep up with the YouTube channel at all, do you? That's a no.
Okay, so when we started, the main thing was we didn't want to drop that. We weren't ready to drop money into the podcast yet. Yeah. Besides, mics and what we already have. And at first, we didn't know much about getting onto these, Spotify and stuff like that. And there are some podcast hosting services where you pay these little payments and stuff. Yeah. And at first, what's the go-to? YouTube. Yeah. And, YouTube's free. It's a very convenient tool for, just videos and anything. And that was the first thing where we dropped on. When we first announced the podcast, it was YouTube. It wasn't Spotify. That came out like 2 weeks later. And you love YouTube. YouTube is your thing.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And in fact, a lot of these crappy movies that I've been watching lately have been on YouTube. Yeah. Not to say that YouTube doesn't have good movies. They do.
And for those that don't know, Elias has YouTube Premium. You're one of the only people I know that have that.
Yep.
And I think it's just one of those things where that's for people that love YouTube. You spend a lot of time on YouTube. And at times I don't see the significance of it, but then there's those times where you remind me of the ads. Or you see me having an ad on YouTube and you make fun of me.
Yep, multiple times. Because I haven't seen an ad on YouTube or YouTube Music in years. Aside from whenever somebody else has a YouTube account.
Yeah, so, we were just doing YouTube and eventually we got caught on Spotify. And then we still release on YouTube. But now we do it like a few days later. Yeah. But then now that you remind me of that, we have subscribers on there. They may not always listen, but they do. They're on there. Yeah. So that means we do gotta stay caught up on that.
I mean, I think with your current schedule it's fine as is. Mm-hmm. Since it's a couple of days late, but it's not like when people are listening to the podcast. Yeah. I'm not entirely sure of the analytics, but when I'm trying to listen to the newest episode, I'm not listening it onto YouTube first. Yeah. I'll listen to a bunch of older episodes after on YouTube, but I won't listen to the newest one on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. So. And the return of Papa Bear, the intern. It's been a few episodes since we've had you. We had you on your little trilogy, as me and Beatrice called it, because you were there for 3 episodes. That was the Papa Bear trilogy.
Yes, it was.
Speaking of trilogy, Star Wars, you're going to have to watch that. I want to know your thoughts on that. So I don't want to get too much into Star Wars for now.
I guess you can say
Oh, boy. And with that, ladies and gentlemen.
No. Hold on. let me finish off this really bad pun. I want the viewers or the listeners to understand how bad these puns truly are. I guess you can say, with me returning to the podcast, I'm the new hope of the podcast.
I don't know what was worse, that or this movie. But ladies and gentlemen, follow us on the social media. Share us. Let your baby mamas know. Let the mistress know. Savage is Unscripted. Is there anything you want to say, Elias?
I want to hear, and tweet at Savage is Unscripted, the worst puns you can possibly bring up.
What's the worst puns?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I just want a bunch of just crappy dad puns.
Yeah, and Elias has a fun, neat idea for, like he was saying about the Twitter. Something, a little project he wants to do. It's not even nothing that big, but I think it's something that'd be a little funny for those that listen and understand the context of all these jokes and the things we talk about. We have some plans, people. Savage Unscripted will grow.
Yes, it will.
We'll not be top 10 podcast, but we're going to become something. We'll be bigger than we are now.
You see, without me, it won't be top 10 podcast, but with me, it will be.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoy your week. Have a Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, everybody.
Take care. That's all.
Take care. That's it.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Just cut the entire segment out.
No, I'm adding this in.